Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's conference call. At this time, your lines have been placed on listen only for conference. Once again, all lines are on listen only. Conference is being recorded, and if you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I will now turn conference over to our host, Mr. Anzo Rajgira. Sir, you may proceed.
Thanks a lot, Jill. Hey, guys. Happy afternoon, and really appreciate everyone taking an hour to join the call. I know it's been a challenging couple of months, and and hopefully everyone is doing healthy and fine. One thing this has sort of taught us as a company is that the importance of resilience and how technology and innovation has really made this situation livable. Imagine that this happened 10 or 15 years ago without having smart digital technologies in a home. I think we would have been in a much more difficult situation. And that's why I think we feel that this is a great time to talk about how technology is evolving the home, and really with the intersection of technology and energy, we think there's a bright future ahead. So with that, again, really excited to talk about how Schneider Squared E as a company, we think about the intersection of the future that we think is a combination of technology and energy, and would love to share that vision with you along with my co-friend Gerard on this line. Maybe just a quick background about us. I'm originally from India. I lead our connected offers for our residential line of business, and along with me is Gerard. He's based in California. He's always surfing, and I'm playing tennis, but you can imagine that we've not got a chance to explore our hobbies for the last few months. But again, I think both of us are very passionate about technology, passionate about the whole energy space, and really feel that our company and and the future will become more digital along with becoming smarter. So with that said, let's start by looking at how things have changed, right? And I really love this picture that is there, which basically show that how technology has evolved in our lives. And really, when you think about, basic things like a phone, even a car, technology today is inbuilt in them. And it's not a requirement, but it's almost become a standard in everything we do. And if you ask ourselves why, I think the basic answer that really comes out is convenience, comfort, and the overall peace of mind that technology can help in making our lives much more easier and comfortable to live. Right, and I think this is not just restricted to our everyday device like a phone, but it's getting embedded in every aspect we touch today. One example, only like last week I bought a water bottle for my wife, and she's able to track how much liters of water she can drink every day. It might sound crazy, but I think rather than me reminding her and doctors telling her to drink water, that's a very nice and easy way for me to make sure that the health and everything is taken care of. So again, little technology hacks that get embedded in the daily products to make our lives easier and better to live. And as a company, we constantly take this idea and say, okay, how can we embed this technology in our products to really add that level of convenience and comfort, to our consumers, to our customers, and to our partners. So with that foundation in mind, if I think about what are some of the key trends that's driving our market, right? And as a company, we think there are 4 major trends that's shaping our world. The first trend we talk about is the new electricity guzzlers that is entering into our homes. Tesla, I think they had the highest EV, or they were the number 1 sales of cars in California. So you can imagine the shift that's happening in the daily things we use that's moving to electric. Several towns in California have said that they will be going all electric. All the homes will be electric, no gas furnaces, etc. And so there is a major shift that's happening that's making the home more electric and increasing the burden on our homes. The second thing is power availability. So, aging in place, 90% of the U.S. population is expected to age in place in the next 5 to 10 years in place. California, again, the wildfire that's affecting there and the power outages planned power outages, as PG&E puts in, is really making resilience a key driver of choosing and equipping yourself for these things. The third piece is safety hazards. There is a lot of electrical safety issues happening. With the recent NEMA code changes that happened to drive further safety, people are trying to understand how can they make homes safer, and now with this COVID situation, even cleaner and making sure germ-free. And the last piece is, it's comfort and convenience, right? So, again, every home today, probably 1 in every 2 homes has a Alexa or a Google smart speaker. The comfort and convenience that these things drive is really goes exponential, right? And some of the sales numbers that have come out is staggering, right? 200 million speakers sold itself in 2019. So again, it's an intersection of various trends that's happening from the electricity standpoint and from the energy standpoint that is really shaping how we think about our residential homes in the future. And, if you take it to a step further, right, this is not just in big homes that we would think about smart homes being there for our custom homes, but a lot of our production home builders or national home builders, as we call it, are actually embedding this technology as a standard in all of their homes. And these homes can range from a $200,000 track home up to $1 million home in California. And so it's not just one made for the luxury homes, but it's really become a standard in some of the smaller homes that we think would have not been the case. So we've put some examples on the paper, KB Homes, Meritage, DR Horton. These are like the top 4 of the 10 home builders in the U.S. And, these are our customers as well, we're very proud partners of them. And when we talk to their leadership, I think the common trend is that this is not what is needed. It is really what is expected for us to sell. And consumers and home buyers walking in are expecting this and are actually demanding this from their builders. And so these builders who we think are leaders in the space have taken the decision that rather than losing out to other builders, how do we embed this technology and really make it a value driver for the consumer for 2 reasons. One, to differentiate themselves, but to also really tell their story, because now they have the option of being connected with their home buyer through digitally and really showcase their story as part of that. So again, the whole purpose was to say that it's become a standard, and everyone, including the national home buyers, are actually adopting it in the future. So how does this impact our trade people, right? So, and as we get into that, let's look at what is the future of technology and the electricity. So today, when we think about a smart home, we really think about 3 layers, right? So starting with the home, we have what we call the energy or the power layer. And so under the power layer, you have the solar panels in case of a solar production. Then you have electrical panel, the smart meters, the solar inverter that goes with it. If there is a battery, you will have energy storage. And then you also have an electric vehicle, right? So the major shift that's happening is that moving from a single direction energy use, it's becoming sort of bi-directional, right? So homes are becoming what we call prosumers. So they are not only consuming energy, but they are also producing energy. That's a shift that's happening in the industry. The second thing that's happening, I think we spoke about, is all these smart home integrations, right? So we have the smart home, the controller roller blinds, the connected lighting, etc. Today, or I would say maybe a couple of years ago, all these systems were disconnected, and they actually acted as individual components and not really a solution that brings them together. And what we are seeing is that there is a major trend happening where you're having these software interfaces, whether it's through a Google Home, Alexa, or some of the other systems we'll be showing, it basically brings the power and the smart home components together to really make the home more efficient, more smarter, and again, at the end of the day, drive convenience for our customers. And so it's really the intersection of power, smart home, and software that we think will define the future of the home. And I think as part of the electrical industry and the energy industry, I think all of us are in a good position to make the most of it. And I think it's important to understand how can we do that in the coming future. So now let's take a step forward into some of our electrical contractors and how can they think about it, right? We electrical contractors, we work a lot through our business. And I think what we generally found is that today contractors are hesitant to enter the smart home market. And again, we understand change is very hard. And there are three primary reasons why we feel, based on the voice of customer we've done, electrical contractors are hesitant to enter the smart home market. I think first one, installation it's not simple. And I love the phrase that I borrowed from one of my colleagues, which is smart isn't simple, right? So, to make the system work, there is still what we call a need for low voltage installers or the white glove service guys to help collaborate and really make it a fabric that stitches all these things together. The second thing is callbacks, right? Again, every change has some, let's say, cons to it. And sometimes the digital systems that we deploy can result in additional callbacks for our contractor community. And I think that really erodes their existing profit model, which is more about building a home and moving from one home to the other. And the third one we feel is that, there is a longer time to install and commission the product, and which really reduces their efficiency and throughput to make more and more homes. And so I think we acknowledge the challenges and the hesitation that comes with incorporating smart home portfolio in their offerings. And so that's definitely a significant portion of risks that initially you have to take. But we truly feel that the benefits outweigh the risks. And we feel that what the additional value that the business models that can provide to our contractors overpower some of the challenges I had just laid out. So again, maybe we can talk a little bit more on what are the different ways in which the benefits outweigh the risks. We see there are really 4 benefits for our electrical contractors in the long term. The first one is I think they can have a broader portfolio of products. So, I think that will really give a range of products that they can offer to the customers. The second thing is evolving the business model, right? So today it's primarily a CapEx where, I call in a contractor, they do a service and they move. Instead, as a consumer, maybe having a more of a service-based model or a recurring model where they become more of a partner for me. I think that probably is something we can see evolving in the future. The last one is third one is digital engagement. And again, today, again, in a place where I probably don't want to have physical contact, can I use my products to digitally engage with my customers? And I think that's a great option for our contractor community to step in and say, how do I drive digital engagement to maintain this relationship? And the last piece is trusted advisor, right? So I think consumers and homeowners are looking for a trusted advisor, which exists today as a gap. And I think this is a great opportunity for somebody like our trade people to step in and really be the trusted advisor for them and differentiate themselves from other service providers. So, just to summarize, I think it is a change. It is a change of wave that is coming. And as we say, either you surf it or sometimes you might sink it. So we feel that we should definitely understand how can our partners, our contractors, hopefully some of them on the call, can evolve themselves, and hopefully they are evolving and really take this as an opportunity versus as a challenge to get into the smart home space. And here were some examples, right? So I think we sharing some examples of companies that are doing it today, who have incorporated it, and I think these are some great ideas going forward. So with that, Gerard, I'll pass on the ball to you, and I'll let you take it from there.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Ball has been received. All right. Good afternoon or morning, everyone. This is Gerard, and I do business development for the connected product lines for Square D, and I focus on the West. I live in San Diego, and I am originally from Barcelona, Spain, in case that you can detect this slight accent that I have. All right, so I'm going to cover a few pieces today. I'm going to start talking about how are we going, as Square D, going to support this shift from a product standpoint. Okay, how can we help the contractors through this shift of consumer needs, right? And from there, I'm going to give you an idea of the products that we've got today and that can help in that transition. So I think it's great to start by talking a bit about the vision. Where do we see Square D going in the long run with this, right? We want to get to a point where the maturity of the technology makes the user experience extremely simple. Okay, we see ourselves in 10 years from now to a point where the homes will be deciding on their own what is the best way of optimizing resources at any given moment. Okay, but to get there, we need to start connecting the most elemental items that we've got. Okay, and in our industry, in electrical, we're going to start with the load center itself. That's what we call today the Wiser Energy System. Then it's going to become the brain of the whole home. That Wiser Energy System, we want it to be talking to the different connected parts. So we're going to have smart breakers. We are going to be designing and launching a wiring devices line with switches, receptacles, dimmers. All of that is going to be talking to the Wiser Energy. So it's going to create an ecosystem that's going to be able to control and monitor everything from grid to plug. That way, over time, we'll be able to optimize all the components on how we use energy in a home. Okay. Also, as we do this, for example, with the Energy Hub, we're also thinking on how can we reduce the installation time as more factors are included into a regular home construction. So, for example, now that we're going to have solar and batteries being added in new homes as standard, like it happens already in California with Title 24. So we're also going to be designing and making our equipment to support those needs and helping deliver a quicker installation. Okay, so this is our big plan, and right now I'm going to talk about the first step of that plan, okay? The first building block. And that's the Wiser Energy System, which essentially is a small computer that goes inside any load center and connects it to the internet, okay? And homeowners become empowered with information on how the home uses energy and what things are using that energy, okay? So those benefits are really energy savings and peace of mind, okay? You can save energy when you know what's wasting it, for example, and you can have more peace of mind when you know when certain things are running or when they're not, okay, or when they're about to break. So really, that's that first building block that's going to be the brain going forward, and it's going to be able to control and talk to the different components as we keep evolving our portfolio. Okay. Also, it's very important to note that this solution we've got right now, Wiser, is very easy to install. Okay. When we're in new construction, we're talking at about 15-minute install time. It's here in this screen, we can see a few components that compose it. The first one is the computer, the one we see in the bottom. We call that the hub. The hub basically processes the information information that gets from the sensors that we see at towards the top near the main breaker. We've got two sensors there. We call those CTs, CT clamps. Those are split core CTs. They're very easy to wrap over those main logs. Then with this information that we're going to get and process through the hub, we're going to send it over to the internet through Wi-Fi. So we've got a little Wi-Fi antenna. Over time, we're also going to have Ethernet port availability. And all of this is going to be powered through a 2-pole breaker, all right? And these few components make the installation super simple and quick. Additionally, once we've got it installed, we'll have to download an app and follow a quick setup process similar to creating a Facebook account, which takes less than 5 minutes. But the idea is just transferring, communicating the simplicity of installation. All right, let's go ahead and watch a quick video of what the app looks like so you get an idea. 1 second.
Welcome to Wiser Energy, the most user-friendly home energy monitor in the market. Thanks to real-time monitoring and simple graphics, your home will finally have a voice to communicate to you what's happening in the home electrically. You will see usage daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, and know how much energy your appliances are consuming at any given moment. Wiser Energy can also tell you how much your home is consuming versus similar-sized homes. And lastly, you can set up custom notifications so you know when a device is turned on or off.
Perfect. Now going back to the presentation. Hopefully you guys could get a quick grasp of the app. Really the intention is showing you that it's a very user-friendly app. We've got a very powerful software team making it sleek and the reviews are very good. People are very happy on the way it operates. Okay, and let's talk a bit more about the benefits. As I said, there's two key things. One is around the energy savings piece, and the second one about peace of mind, understanding when things are happening. So there's multiple ways that people are going to be benefiting from this. Starting with the energy savings, people start understanding for the first time electricity once they've got this. Before this, electrical bills, for example, have been very opaque. They're hard to read, like when you start seeing kilowatts and like these numbers, and it's very hard to understand, right? For example, today we understand when we hear 25 miles per gallon, which is what our car does. But imagine that we didn't understand, right? That's exactly what's happening with electrical bills, right? So having this device empowers homeowners with the ability to understand electricity for the first time. Okay. One of the things that it helps us do, because you can see the live consumption in the home and live generation, it tells you, or is it easy to spot when there's like inefficiencies. For example, this week I was talking to a customer and he told me that he had in his home a sound system, a stereo system that was connected at all times that was using 160 watts. Okay, and he's not listening to music all day long. So the moment he unplugged that, he is going to save annually approximately at least $240. And basically, you could do the calculation through the app. It tells you what you were estimated to use that year. And basically, he was able to add a smart plug, and now he only turns that on when he needs to listen to the music, right? So that's a great example on how people a lot of times benefit from this, and helps the device to pay on its own very quickly. Okay. On the other side, for example, because we can set up notifications on some of these devices, we can, for example, ask the app to tell us every time the garage door kicks in, okay, or turns on and off. So basically, we can get notified when people get home. Okay, that's a very common usage. Or, for example, for people that have a second home in the mountains, for example, they can keep track and make sure like their appliances are using, that their snow melting equipment is functioning properly, and similar. Okay, that the solar panels are working and so on. Basically, provides you with that access to that information that otherwise you wouldn't have. All right, so let's talk about now some of the benefits for you guys, for contractors, or as well as home builders and solar installers. Really, these are the three types of customers where we're seeing the most interest and the most demand for this device. And here are some of the success stories. Okay, on the first hand, let's start with home builders. Home builders that focus on energy efficiency, zero net energy homes, etc., like this product a lot because it helps them communicate the homeowner all the effort and investment that they've put behind the curtains. So they tend to spend an average of from $5,000 to $10,000 more when they are making these homes more efficient, whether it's in insulation materials and others, and specific Energy Star appliances, etc. And if the homeowner is not conscious about their consumption, they might even give a call back to the builder and say, hey, this is not what you promised me. And maybe it's the homeowner's fault, right? So being able to provide this device helps the builder communicate the message that this home is actually very efficient, okay? And clear any doubts. All right. In fact, Providence Homes in Florida takes a lot of pride for making very efficient homes. And for many years, they have been adding a chocolate bunny in the attic of the homes to demonstrate homeowners that while the time they have the home, the bunny won't melt. And these are homes in Florida, so it's very impressive how well insulated those homes are. And now Wiser is the perfect complement to that bunny to tell homeowners how efficient these homes are. Okay. Next type of customer we see success and that they enjoy selling Wiser are service electricians, classic folks that are doing panel upgrades. Now they've got an opportunity to do a simple upsell, and by offering Wiser, it takes 15 more minutes from the moment that they are already visiting the customer, and they offer with a way of saving energy, right? By asking simple questions like, hey, are you getting a bill over $200? Then you can start a discussion that this device can pay itself off and reduce their bill over the long term very quickly, right? Yeah, so that's for service electricians. Also, another thing that we see the service electricians like, as I'll show you next, we've got ways to include your company information inside the app so that your customers will be able to have access to your phone number, to even your logo and website, email information, even other services that you offer right through our app. Okay, so now this becomes a great opportunity for you to get referrals as well as getting a call back from the same customer to create, so it creates helping stickiness. So that's something that our customers love as well. Lastly, for solar installers, I'd say definitely this is the customer type that sees the most benefit. Being able to empower homeowners that have solar on how they use their energy in an easy to understand way and an effective way helps homeowners pay quicker their solar installation. Okay, being able to understand how you use the energy, it's going to be very, very important for paying off quickly the investment. As you guys know, solar installations can range between $10,000 to $40,000 or whatever you want, really. And it's very important to empower customers with the right tools to make the best decisions, right? So, and also here is where you become the trusted advisor, right? Like you want to be giving the homeowners the right tools so they can take the best decisions. Okay, and once again, it's also very commonly known that in the solar industry, getting leads and referrals is one of the most expensive activities. And such a device is something that the homeowners will be kind of showing to their friends. And by having your company's logo inside the app, it's also a great way to get referrals and reduce your marketing expense. Okay, another one for solar installers that we hear that is very successful is to reduce a very common call where solar installers, after a couple months of doing an installation, they get a call from the homeowner and they say that they still get a $200 bill. And now they need to check with the utility, they need to go over to their bills, and basically it's a cumbersome process that takes time from the solar installer, and it's just a very common thing that happens right now. By providing this tool to homeowners, it basically the call disappears because now the homeowners can understand why they're actually paying $200, and it's most of the times it's not because the installation has an issue. It's actually because since they got solar, they left the jacuzzi on 24/7. So, okay, I mentioned about the possibility to include the logo in the app. Doesn't matter if you are a solar installer or an electrical contractor or a home builder or any other type of contractor. You can add your company name in the app, and it's going to show up in different tabs. Okay, you can see the logo, you can see the name. As I said, you can also add some of the other services that you include. You know, maybe one day this homeowner is likely to get a car charger. It would be great to know, for this homeowner to know that you supply those services, right? So again, great way to stay connected to your customer and stay in their pocket. Okay, we believe this is huge, and our customers are already benefiting from this.
Correct. And maybe, Gerard, one more point is that this is not just restricted to solar contractors, but any contractor or a service integrator or a value-added reseller can add their logo to the app. And it's almost about, people leave their business cards behind, right? When contractor comes in, they leave their business card behind. And a lot of times that business cards might get lost and you forget who to call. The great thing is you can think about this is almost like a digital business card that is there in a customer's phone, and that will probably never go away. So again, think about creating that customer lifetime attachment for a long, sustainable business.
Yep, I'm sure a lot of electrical contractors or solar installers don't like to hear this, but a lot of times if you ask the homeowner, hey, who's the last electrician that came to your house to do the service work? A lot of times they're not going to remember the name of the company, right? So whether it was solar installer or it was an electrical contractor, so service electrician. So yeah, this is a great way to keep that engagement and basically set you up for the next to be eligible for the next job. Okay, and basically here's where we are getting to a close. We want to at Squaredy, we want to help the folks in our industry transition to the new customer needs, right? Similar to what Anshu was saying, all these different devices that are getting connected are adding benefit from. We went from the iPhone from the telephone to the iPhone, right? Technology is evolving super quickly, and we're seeing industries being disrupted totally, and that's changing the way people are selling, the way people are using the information. So, for example, we've seen companies that we would have never imagined back in 2005 that would have an issue, like Nokia or BlackBerry, and then like 3 years or 4 years later, they're in huge trouble, right? Like, or in that same industry, we saw a big change from physical store to online, right? And we've gone from paid phone calls to a subscription-based, like all included, right? There's been huge changes, right? So basically, these are also going to be affecting us in this industry, and that's why Schneider is making a big effort and investment to our vision of we want to get homes to be as optimized as possible without, by bringing the best experience to homeowners. So any comments there, Anshul?
I think, Gerard, you laid it out well. Is, again, I was reading a book about this innovation dilemma, and I think it's like innovate or you die, right? But as a company, we are really vested, and we strongly believe that slowly technology will get incorporated in our products, and it not only changes what we sell, but to some extent the business models, the way we engage, and also create some new opportunities. So I think it's just maybe taking a step back and just maybe understanding, okay, how can I evolve our business in different forms of fashion to be successful? And again, look, every journey is initially challenging, and there will be some roadblocks that come along the way, right? I mean, every product will not be perfect, right? Again, I keep coming back to SpaceX, but I think it took them 13 trials to finally get the first sort of successful launch. So what it means is that the product that we may not be perfect, but I think until we start, we'll never get there. And so it is a little bit of a leap of faith that we take, and we need your assistance and help to kind of take that faith with us in order to really be successful for the future, right? So it's more about how do we shape the journey in the direction of the future and take that first step, because unless we take the first step, we won't be able to reach to perfection, right? So that's, again, we really appreciate your time. And Gerard, I think the next is probably the Q&A side.
Yes, I just wanted to add that we're going to be sharing, as we follow up with this email, we're going to be sharing the contact information for Anshul and myself. And basically, we're happy to have a conversation and brainstorm on the different opportunities that you guys envision and how can we partner to help you succeed on those. Okay, for what we just discussed.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Gerard, before we go to Q&A, I see a lot of questions on the overall Visor story. Do you mind just going to that slide, because I think there was a lot of chat questions around it. I think I noted down 3 or 4 questions, so maybe I can just address that in one go on what is the overall story. Yeah, thanks, Gerard. So guys, I think there was a lot of questions on what is the timing, when will everything get launched, and how can I explore this further. So we officially announced what we are calling sort of the Squarey Connected Home story in CES of this year. And so we basically talked about 3 different products. One is the wiring devices. The second is the energy hub, which is now the energy center. And then, even the smart breakers that go within it. So we officially announced that system or a solution and a whole idea of the grid to plug early this year. In addition to that, I think what we are viewing is that we launched our building block, Visor Energy, that Gerard went through early last year. So Visor Energy is out in the market. We've partnered with Sense to bring that in. And then over time, we will be launching individual components that will slowly get connected into the broader system. So the wiring devices is planned for launched end of this year. And the energy center is something that's planned for early next year. And so you can see that how these systems will slowly come together, and that will frame the connected home story. So hopefully that helps in giving you a broader view on the timing and how we are getting to the overall story that we are putting here. Yep. Jared, I think now we can go to the Q&A. I just wanted to refresh this slide because I saw a lot of questions around it.
There we go.
So there was one question, and Gerard, you might be the best person to answer this. So there was a question around, can this monitor measure every branch circuit, or is this total consumption only?
So the way it works, it's basically, we look at total consumption, but then the software is capable of learning specific devices that are in the home using power. So we don't have sensors at each branch. We've only got them at the mains, but even with that limitation of hardware in a sense, we are capable of finding many of the devices that are in each house, like the fridge, dryer, etc. And the way we're able of doing this is thanks to machine learning. This technology comes from voice recognition technology. In fact, the founders of this technology they're the founders of Siri. Okay, so picture the same way that voice recognition is actually recognized and it can distinguish like different people's voices and understand what they're saying. Basically, it's translated into the electrical waves. So when we see an electrical wave, basically we can understand based on the shape and for how long it goes, we can basically learn what it is. And something very cool about this is that it's always learning. So as we continue to expand our network, it learns and it does it faster and for more things. So for example, a lot of our customers today won't have an electric car, but in a few years from now, they most likely will and have a charger in their home. And device, thanks to this software, will be able to pick up that car charger the day that it gets installed. Well, it will have to learn it, but my point is you don't have to add hardware over time as things change in the home. And it's only one device per home instead of having to have multiple devices throughout the home. Because what happens with branch monitoring a lot of times is that you need one main panel, one desktop panel, and one even if you've got more panels, right? So this is just one device per home.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that. I think one question maybe I can take is that, are you adding any other partners like Lutron, Leviton, etc.? So the short answer is we are expanding our partner base. Again, we really believe in having an open platform. And so today there are certain connected devices we talk to, Alexa, Google Home, the Philips Hue light bulb, and smart plugs. So that's our current, let's say, ecosystem that we talk to. Over time, we do plan to expand that partner base. Again, I don't have a good timing for Leviton or Lutron, etc. Again, we have to it's a lot of effort at our end to make those integrations, and we are trying to work with the ones that we can get to quickly, and there's a lot of demand in the market. So again, short answer is that we are working towards it, but not today with Lutron and Leviton. Maybe the other question I'm seeing is that we would like to, so I know, so firstly, guys, I really appreciate, I see a lot of people are interested. I think post this webinar, there will be an email out with the right contacts. And we would love, if what you saw and you're interested to talk more about it, we are happy to discuss that and understand how can our products, our expertise help you and your business grow. So please do reach out, and if or even you can put your email address in the chat function, and that way, that also gives us another avenue for us to work with you. But again, we're really happy that you guys are showing interest, and we want to, part of the webinar is to find areas of synergy that we both can work on.
I see a question in regards to the wiring device line, if it's going to be Wi-Fi. And the answer is yes, and it will also be Zigbee. Okay?
Great.
Also, I wanted to mention, guys, a new feature that we have as of last week. It's the installer app. Okay, so until today, we had basically the app that the homeowner ends up with the phone, and through the commissioning process, the installer had to download that and then the homeowner would basically create the account on their phone. Right now, we've got the installer app, which allows the installer to make sure everything has been installed properly, first of all. Okay, there's a bunch of checks that are happening on the spot, and you don't even need the internet in the home to check it. You can check it with your own phone signal. Okay, so this is very interesting because once you're done with the commissioning, then you can email the account to the homeowner. The homeowner doesn't need to be there. Okay, so if you're doing solar install or new construction, this becomes very convenient, and it is even contactless at this point, which seems to be a demand, and it's kind of a way of not halting operations if that's actually something that is hurting your business.
Great. I'm seeing a question about incentives and rebates about smart products, etc. So there are a couple of ways in which rebates are there. So typically, most rebates come from utilities, and every utility has a different line of products for which they give rebates. So, for example, I live in Chicago. My utility provider is ComEd, and I can go into the ComEd website and see what are the different products that are eligible for utilities. So I know that the Nest smart thermostats, etc., do agree on utilities. I think right now there is a policy that's getting in place about what we call HEMS, Home Energy Monitor Systems, and whether they will get Energy Star rating as well or not. So again, it really depends on the local utility that you guys work with, and I think they determine what products get rebates or not. In terms of tax credits, so like solar, if Wiser is incorporated into your solar sort of BOM, billing of materials, then it does contribute to the federal tax credit. So I think today that federal tax credit, I think initially it was 30%, but I think it got pushed down to 28 or 26. And so that will again continue to make part of that, 26%. Thanks for the correction, Amr.
Yep.
So I think
Anshul and I are the product specialists for Wiser Energy in the U.S. And as I said, we're gonna follow up to all of the attendees with our contact information, and we are the key contacts that you wanna be reaching out to. Okay, and if there's any further questions, if you guys wanna get on a call, we can talk about it through email.
I think there's one question on maybe you are best to answer. Will you integrate with the utility so that the utility rate can be directly linked by picking a provider?
A great question. Right now we've got a fixed rate. So if where you live, they use a fixed rate type of billing system, then you are all set. But for example, I'm in California, so this is something I've been asking, and we're working on it. Okay, I don't have a clear timeline. I think it's early 2021, but I'll definitely keep you posted, and that's something we're really looking forward to. Okay, so basically, where it gets to the point that you can pretty much add your zip code, and that's it, and it will be able to calculate depending on the time of the day how much you're being charged by your utility, etc.
Great. And again, guys, as I mentioned, it's a great product, but there are some changes, etc., that we constantly will be making. One of the questions was, is this product future-proof, and what will happen when new features like this come on? Do I have to rebuy the product? And really the good thing about software is that updates are over the air. So, for example, if there's a new app that's there, we simply have to go to the App Store and just click the button update, and it's done. And so similar to this, all the new features that are coming on are are over-the-air upgrades, and so there is no cost attached to it, and it really happens in the back end, and a lot of time consumers don't even realize it. So it's pretty smooth in that way, and I think that's one of the advantages of having a software layer associated with it, is that it sort of makes it future-proof.
Yep. It reminds me a bit of, I mean, like a Tesla in the sense that it continues to release new features and customers get excited, and 2 years afterwards, buying the car, they are with a better car. For example, here a year and a half ago approximately, when we started with this, we didn't have a comparison feature inside the app, right? And now we have comparison in multiple parts of the app. We can see, for example, how some of our, well, basically we can compare against our neighbors, our total consumption, and a couple more specific metrics as well can be compared, which act as a great benchmark to understand where you are. And that was not available right away.
Yeah. I think I love the quote where they said that hardware products depreciate over time versus software products actually they accrue more value because these upgrades can be made to them. So nice way to put it, Gerard.
Absolutely.
Sheila, Jill, I don't see any further questions. Are there any questions at your end that you want to that you want to share?
I think we've covered them all. Looks like you've done a thorough job.
All right. Guys, thank you again for your time. I think both Gerard and I are very grateful for you guys to taking some time and learn more about what is coming. I think we have 2 more webinars that are planned in the next couple of months where we'll go a little bit deeper on what we showed here and sharing some best practices from our own customers. So we really appreciate your time, and we really hope you and your family and your team are safe and healthy, and we can weather the storm together. So again, really appreciate your time. Gerard, I'll let you close the call with some comments.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Again, it's great to be able to just get to talk about these topics and the future of the industry. So we hope to be able to keep the discussion on one-on-one. So we'll be sending that email and look forward to talking to you. All right, guys?
Yeah. I think there's a poll, right, Gerard? There's a poll in the chat feature that we want them to answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please. If you guys can do that, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheila and Jill. Really appreciate you guys setting this up for us.
Yep.
This does conclude today's conference call. We thank you all for participating. You may now disconnect and have a great rest of your day.